So, first of all, I came from a background that cryptocurrency is literally banned, and so we are talking about how do we leverage the blockchain technology for government and all kinds of things, and as for regulators. And we've been working on the blockchain for the last 3 years, and we have several accomplishments. And one of them is the sandbox. And the sandbox, when we talk about sandbox, most people talk about regulatory sandbox. But the regulatory sandbox is an administrative process. What we need is today is an industry sandbox. Industry sandbox is the one that can operate and run various kinds of blockchains and applications. So this is the sandbox we actually installed, and this is the first, as far as we know, first industrial sandbox based on blockchain. So all the blockchain in the world, including private or the public blockchain like Ethereum or Bitcoin, they can run in this sandbox, and the application can run in the sandbox. And we can test and run various kinds of applications. Here are some of the applications that can run. Okay, so you can pick various kinds of applications. And then, for example, if you say you have done the insurance applications, or you have done the credit, or you have done payment, and everything can be tested and monitored in the sandbox systems. And we talked to several regulators in the world, including Hong Kong, China, and also several other places. And they say they welcome the sandbox, because without sandbox, then it's very difficult to know what has been done and what will be done. And also the sandbox will be semi-open, so all the researchers and scientists, they can use this sandbox. And earlier, I was told the Bahama financial authorities also welcome our sandbox here. So all the applications that based on the whatever blockchain they have, Ethereum or Bitcoin or Hyperledger, whatever, they can run the sandbox. Okay, so that's one thing that we did. Another thing we did, we have several new blockchain designs. And on the left-hand side is a blockchain design that was proposed by the European Central Bank. And the basic idea is that they connect everything together into a blockchain. And we have estimated that if you actually run this, each of the nodes require maybe 1 to 100 supercomputers for this to run. Okay, because the amount of computation is so extensive that if you want to run, say, 150 nodes with all the account in the world, you need supercomputer to run. And then also everybody have to share their account. So this is a very difficult challenge. So what we do is we classify the blockchain into two kinds, account blockchain and trading blockchains. And so instead of just one big blockchain, and we have a web of blockchains. Each of the blockchain can have the security and privacy, and then they need just ordinary processor to handle. So suddenly we can have all kind of, we can have many blockchain running in the world. And then also something surprising, if we divide this, then blockchain suddenly become very scalable. And in fact, the scalability is unlimited. It's only limited by the number of processors that you have. So I call it unlimited scalability. And with this blockchain design, then we suddenly will be able to process large amount of data that are not feasible, because a lot of banks and regulators say we want to monitor the trading and all these transactions. Well, if you do this in the current, if you use the current blockchain design, you have a blockchain to do the trading, and you have the big data system to do the cleaning and monitoring and all these things. But this is very inefficient, because if you want to check the data, you have to load the data from the blockchain to a database, and you take a long time. But But our design is that each of the nodes in the blockchain is a big data system. So if you want to do all analysis, you can do it in the same node. Okay, and we use this a new architecture we call big database blockchains. We actually use in the trade clearing for commodity clearing house in Guangdong. And this is the, on the left-hand side is the internet of blockchain. So on the left side are the leads of exchanges. On the right-hand side are the leads of the banks. And then on the top of that are the regulators. So regulators, they can have, they can participate in the blockchain, and everything is scalable, so we can have a unlimited number of the exchanges and unlimited number of the banks, and then the data and transaction can be unlimited. And if you look at the super large ledger, the big side, which you can have very unlimited number of debt, the limit will be set only by the hardware that will be supplied. So everything can be done, and every single trade can be traced. And so this is and this is the system is scalable and homogeneous. In other words, we can add any node, and we can remove any node, and all the system will be still operate. And that's what we call the. And this is the system we actually built last year, and we actually processed this for about 3.3 billion of transaction, which is about 14 years of London Stock Exchange data. And this may be the largest blockchain experiment that we ever encountered. Okay, thank you very much.